Title of the show this morning is Relevance. I want to go back in time to a song that became relevant during the Vietnam era when I was a young man. I was a young boy at this point. Hey, will you look up? Hey, Justin, will you look up and find out when "Four Dead in Ohio" was published? I've probably heard that song 1,000+ times. It became the national anthem for the liberal progressives in our country. It became relevant.
September 8, 2020.
No. "Four Dead in Ohio" by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. 2020. Yeah, no. Oh, they wrote a book. 2020, the anthem. So, we'll find out when it was, but I've heard that song thousands of times. It was the marching song, and I just want to read out a couple of the lyrics to this. First of all, thanks for joining me.
May 4, 1970.
1970. So I was 9 years old. Heard the song thousands of times. But for the liberals that were righteous in their cause célèbre against the Vietnam War, trying to save millions of people from communism, the Four Dead in Ohio became their marching rant, kind of like what they've done with ICE, right? The two people that died with ICE, they didn't have to have two of their sacrifices done for ICE. Back in the 60s they had 4 of them. They were their sacrifices. 4 dead in Ohio. They don't give a shit about the 4 dead people. They never gave a shit about the 4 dead people. Tin soldiers and Nixon's coming. Nixon. That's what this was about. Nixon. Soldiers are cutting us down. How can you run when you know? So we just had 4 dead people killed in Chicago. And you don't hear a song about them. Heck, you didn't even see it on the news. 4 dead in Chicago. That happens every weekend in Chicago. It's a Democrat-run town. Biden's coming. Marx is coming. You know, the title of the show today is Relevance. And the media, the PSYOP, NBC, ABC, radio stations, they made that song relevant, right? They made the 4 dead college protesters in Ohio relevant. They're not making the 4 people dead in Chicago relevant because apparently only some Black Lives Matter, but not the 4 that were killed in Chicago. Because progressives only found out, say, 5-6 years ago that Black lives actually matter. They didn't matter until then. Then they had to figure out they could make a sign that said Black Lives Matter, and then they mattered to them. Then they became relevant. With the hands up, don't shoot, and the can't breathe. Obama made some Black lives, the Black lives they could use, they made those lives relevant. They didn't actually think Black lives were relevant because they had to make up a sign telling and reminding themselves that Black lives mattered. Like, we always knew that American Black lives mattered because American lives matter, but the progressives had to remind themselves, you know, probably for the first time in their lives, that, oh yeah, Black lives matter, so let's put a sign in our front yard. We always knew that life mattered, that life was relevant, American life was relevant, that human life was relevant. But our friends that vote for the big D, we'll just call it devil, our neighbors and friends that vote for the big D, the big devil, they had to remind themselves that if they can make Black lives relevant, then they'll get more votes. That's the only reason they gave a shit about Black lives. And or they could get paid for it, make money with it. I want to talk about relevance. And if you think about relevance and the scope of that word, it is a great word. What is relevant in your life? What is it? What's relevant? Paying bills? Sure, that's relevant, because if you don't pay your bills, you don't have electricity, you don't have water, you don't have a roof over your head. So bills are relevant. How do you pay your bills? Well, you have to earn a living, right? You have to make money. Or somebody has to give you money. Somehow, the relevance of bills is high on the list of things that are relevant in your everyday life, because they kind of drive your everyday thought process. How am I going to pay my bills? What bills can I pay now? What bills do I put on auto pay? What bills are important enough to me? What bills are relevant? What services and products do I need that are relevant to me versus those that are not relevant that I can live without? So high on the list of relevance is our everyday existence to be able to enjoy tomorrow, paying bills. So we'll put that high on our list of relevance. I would say that takes up a fair amount of our existence. Paying bills. It does. Making sure that we don't, oh, you know what? Shoot. You just missed the greatest monologue ever because I forgot to turn on my speaker. Shit. Oh. Hello. Welcome to Kingdom's Evolution. Let's try this again. We may have to figure that first part of the show out. Welcome to Kingdom's Evolution. If you can read lips, I just told you the most amazing things in the world. The title of the show today is Relevance. And what we're going to try to dive deep into the thought process of what we keep relevant in our world, what kind of spikes in relevance in our world, and how maybe we can focus some of our energy that we have to those things that are truly relevant, and maybe let go of those things that aren't so relevant. So when I was growing up, there was a song and I started the song off with "4 Dead in Ohio." Came out in 1970. I was 9 years old. I've heard that song thousands and thousands of times. And those that came before me that were teenagers that are kind of running the show, that have been kind of running the show that I've been kind of tail ending on in politics, a lot of the people from California and a lot of the people that wrote this song, "4 Dead in Ohio," are the abortionites, are the empathites, because that was like the first empathite anthem. 4 Dead in Ohio, know their names, know who they are, what if you knew them? And that's where the whole empathite saga begins, right? With the media making out these 4 dead people. They made them relevant. They made their lives relevant. They don't make the 4 dead in Chicago lives relevant because they don't matter. It was never about the people who died at Kent State. It was never about them. None of the people, other than their family members, gave a shit about the 4 dead in Ohio. What they cared about was being able to use their deaths as a weapon, as a hammer and a sickle, to attack America, to attack the power of the government, to attack Nixon, to attack our military. So they were relevant to their cause, much like the hands up, don't shoot, I can't breathe. Do you really think progressives cared about their lives, they had to make a sign called Black Lives Matter to inform themselves that Black Lives Mattered. I've always known that Black Lives Matter. But apparently the progressives had to remind themselves and make signs to tell themselves or remind themselves that Black Lives mattered. So when I think of what's relevant in my life, think of my family, think of my God, think of, thanks to Charlie Kirk, the Bible has become much more relevant in my life. But relevance is a beautiful word. It's relational, right? So it's kind of like flows from the same relational word. So things that are relational become relevant. If you can't relate to something, it's not relevant. Can you relate to having bills to pay? Yeah, we all relate to having bills to pay. The bills are relevant. Because if you don't pay your bills, you don't have any light, you don't have any water, you don't have a roof over your head, you don't have any food to eat. So bills are relevant. Probably paying bills and how you earn the money to pay bills or how you get the money to pay bills is relevant. It's like a first, as an adult, it takes up, let's just say you're a CPU, a computer. That's the hardware, man. That's the stuff that's got to be in the computer. You've got to hardware that relevance into your life to pay those bills. That's hard wiring. So that relevance, let's just say for most of us, for most of humankind, the relevance of providing food, water, shelter, insurance, that relevance, that bill paying, probably takes up at least half of our attention. And you may not even notice it or recognize it, but it almost has to, right? Because if you don't make those things relevant, paying bills relevant in who and what you are and what you focus on, you don't eat. You don't have a place to sleep. Your life goes into shambles. Everything else turns to shit. So half of our ability, let's just say half of our focus as a human being, as an adult, is the relevance of paying bills, of existence, of having a roof over your head. Let's just say half. So I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Now, what you do for that, and when I talk about relevance, I'm not talking about actions, but what I'm talking about is your mindset, what you're thinking about, what's relevant to you. So I would think focus when you're relevant, like half of your relevance, half of your existence half of your relevant focus is existence. Day to day, tomorrow, next day. Half is providing for your basic needs and working and providing to pay bills. Half of it. You go, I don't spend that long paying bills. You may not spend that long writing out checks to pay your bills, but everything that you are has brought you to the point where you make sure those bills get paid. Half of it. And for some of us, it takes up more. For some of us, it takes up less. But I would say a good average is half of your relevance as a human being is providing for your basic needs. Now in America, it takes on different meanings. In capitalist society, it means working. It means producing a good or service that someone is willing to pay you for, whether it's your employer or whether it's your customer. In a communist society, that impulse would be what would be relevant would being a party member, making sure that you identified who you could take money from that's actually producing something, a farmer, a manufacturer, somebody, because when you're a communist, you're not actually producing any good or service. You've got to figure out who to take it from. Social Democrats are focused right now on who to take things from. The Democrat Socialist Party are focusing on who to take shit from. Oil and gas industry would probably be their number one target. That worked out great in Venezuela. And they're electing them like crazy in New York, Democrats. Taking from other people is what's relevant. That's crazy. But they're here. So let me stay focused. Let's just, I want to focus on you. I want to focus on what's relevant in your life, because I want you to understand how difficult what a small percentage of who we are and what we are is focused on tomorrow. So let's just say half of who and what we are focused on is relevant to paying bills. Okay? So that leaves half of our day to figure out what else is relevant to us. And so what becomes relevant to every generation is different, to every person is different. But one thing that becomes relevant really quickly is life and death. So when you're in a life and death situation, and momentarily you may die, your physical life is in danger, that consumes 100%. At that moment, staying alive consumes 100% of your relevance. Correct? Like, let's say you're driving down the highway, car in front of you, there's an accident in front of you, and you see it happen in front of you, and you see the brake lights, and you see everything else happening in front of you. That has 100% of your attention at 80 miles an hour. 100%. There are no distractions. It is just, what do I do next? You have your full 100% attention focused on your next actions and what you're going to do to not be a part or survive this accident. Right? So danger becomes relevant the second it's recognized. So danger becomes an overarching response to danger. So that's kind of where I really had no idea where I was going to take this. I just know that as we go through life, the danger focus for us, for Americans, is not there every day. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing that for most of us in America, we don't wake up in danger every day. We don't wake up thinking what's relevant to us is paying bills, having a better life, watching our kids go to school and learn math and English. So we're not focused on the danger. We don't. The danger, because of our Judeo-Christian country, because of our Constitution, because of our republic, because of our laws, danger is not imminent, threatening every single moment of our lives. Because danger is something that we can manage. Danger is something that we can avoid. Danger is something that we can protect ourselves from. So it's not relevant. We're focused on the other things that are relevant in our lives. Paying bills. Because when you don't have a roof over your head, that's dangerous. That's bad. So we're out, working Americans, voting Americans are out figuring out what's relevant based on pleasure, vacation, playing golf, buying things that we like, making our house nicer. Those are the things that are relevant on it, putting gas in, paying bills and trying to make our lives better, saving money. Those are the things that are relevant to us on a day-to-day basis because that's what makes the world go round. And if you're a younger person, sex. Sex is relevant. If you're young, sex is relevant. It's a huge part of your life. So finding a mate, finding somebody that you love, finding somebody that you enjoy being with physically and emotionally is relevant. It's a fair part of your life. Okay? But all of that comes into focus with danger. Life-threatening situation. Then really very little of that becomes relevant. The only thing that's relevant at that moment is staying alive. So that you can go back to putting all these other things in their place. So we've built a society that is relevant about that put relevance on danger and a high regard, minimizing the danger. Judeo-Christian faith and belief in law and order, not taking justice into your own hands, trusting in a jury of your peers. So we've taken the danger aspect and we've entrusted it to our Constitution, to our laws, to our policemen. We've entrusted that danger aspect of our society a little bit to producers and basically providing and rewarding those people that produce and protecting ourselves from those people that want to steal, want to hurt us, want to rob us. So we've done a pretty good job of doing that, and therefore we get to focus our relevance, what's important to us, on family, on housing, on building a better life, because our relevance, our focus is not on immediate danger. Because if we were always focused on immediate danger, we wouldn't be able to build a better life. Paying our bills wouldn't be relevant. Nothing else would be relevant but staying alive and avoiding danger. Right? I mean, if somebody's pointing a gun at you, you're not worried about paying your electric bill. You're just not. You're just like, well, I think my electric bill can wait until I pay the guy with the gun. So, we've built a better economic system using capitalism and freedom, free flow of market, free flow of cash, and we don't have a guy holding a gun to our heads about paying him money. That's Marxism. That's Democrat socialism. The guy who gets wealthy is the guy with the gun, not the guy that's baking your donuts. Right? And in Marxist Russia, it was the oligarchy that was holding the gun. In America, there's nobody holding a gun. There's nobody holding a gun. In Germany, it was the Kaiser holding the gun. In Russia, it was the Marxists holding the gun. In America, there's nobody holding the gun. So we get to go out and build our lives, enjoy freedom, enjoy happiness, because we've got a constitution, because our forefathers 250 years ago threw off King George, threw off the people with the gun, the English with the gun. And for 250 years, the people that have the guns overseas, the Marxist Chinese, the Marxist Russians, the oligarchy of Europe, have been trying to figure out how to put that gun back at our heads so that we don't prosper, so that we don't so our relevance is more of our lives. And the Democrat Party did it by opening our southern border to drug gangs, rapists, murderers, and they figured out how to put a gun to our head. And now we elected Donald J. Trump, who's taking the gun and pointing it elsewhere so that we can go back to having our great lives and making what's relevant. But how quickly we forget Because here's the deal. When danger isn't relevant, you kind of forget about it. You kind of forget about the danger, right? Because you're busy building your life. But the danger is always out there. The key is to have leadership that and a system of laws that keep the danger at bay. Especially in a free society where people are free to make terrible decisions, if you don't have a system of justice that keeps that danger at bay, you're screwed because you're not expecting the danger, you're not prepared for the danger, and when the danger finally arrives at your door, you're not prepared for it. And we, my ladies and gentlemen, we are not prepared for the danger that is at our door. We are not. It is not relevant to us yet. And unfortunately, by the time it becomes relevant to the typical neighbor or person, the danger is going to be so robust that you are not going to be able to respond to it in a proper fashion. So what we need to do, and I'm trying to make this relevant to you so that you understand the danger that's here and it's not going away, is there's a few forms of danger that are relevant. One is the media. Hunter Biden's laptop. Okay, so for those of you that remember Hunter Biden's laptop, I won't go over the because I don't want to bore you to death with a story. But there are people, your neighbors, that want to tell you that Hunter Biden's laptop is not Hunter Biden's laptop. They want to tell you, they don't think you figured it out, that they just lie. They want to tell you that Trump is bad. They want to tell you that having a clean reflecting pool in Washington, D.C. is bad and that algae is good. They want to tell you that a baby is not a baby. That being able to kill that baby is a choice. Is Hunter Biden's laptop Hunter Biden's laptop? Is algae bad for a pool, for a reflecting pool? Is calling a human baby a choice bad for life, for your life? Because if they can lie to you about are oil and gas bad for energy? So if they can lie to you about Hunter Biden's laptop, and I think they legitimately had people believing, but think about the system, this process that goes down. Hunter Biden's laptop is Hunter Biden's laptop. Oil and gas is bad. Oil and gas is bad. The greenhouse effect, global warming. Think about the last 30, 40 years. It's been 4 dead in Ohio. The relevance of what the media, NBC, ABC, CBS, MS Now, Yahoo, Google, this never-ending Hunter Biden's laptop is Hunter Biden's laptop. Oil and gas are bad, global warming, we're all going to die. It just, COVID, the COVID jab is safe and effective. If you get it, no one else can get it. It'll only be one. It lasts for years and years and years. Give it to babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's like they create these lies and then they ripple them down until they go away. But one of them is not going away. One of them is not going to fade away. One of them is a cancer. One of them is a cancer that is going to that is going to kill us. And I think you all know which one is the cancer that's going to kill us. So we've confronted the lies. We've confronted the lies. We've confronted the lies of Hunter Biden's laptop. So the same people that told you Hunter Biden's laptop was Hunter Biden's laptop are the same people that tell you every other single lie. It's the same people. They haven't been fired. People haven't stopped watching them. They still have TV shows. They're still in power in D.C. They knew it was Hunter Biden's laptop the entire time. The 50 intelligence officers that signed knew it was Hunter Biden's laptop. They all knew they were lying to you. Do you understand that? Do you understand they knew that Hunter Biden's laptop was Hunter Biden's laptop, and they told you it wasn't? But they knew it was. The FBI knew it was Hunter Biden's laptop. And those intelligence officers that signed it knew it was Hunter Biden's laptop. And they told you it wasn't. Why? Why? Why would somebody that has any respect for the truth, for you, lie to you about whether or not somebody's computer was somebody's computer? Why would they lie to you? Because they didn't want it to become relevant. They didn't want it to become relevant in your mind, in your psyche, in what was important to you. They didn't want it to become relevant. What else don't they want to become relevant in your mind, in your life, in what you focus on? If half your relevance is focused on providing for your family, paying bills, it only gives you so much capacity to be relevant about anything else. What else don't they want you to be relevant about? They don't want you to be relevant about vote stealing. Nope. No, vote stealing is not a problem. Voter theft not a problem. Don't make that relevant. Don't make voter theft relevant in your world, because the only thing we have as a republic is our vote. That is our freedom. We don't deal in mob mentality. We don't deal in mob rule. So we deal by vote, by education, by intelligent choices. And we make intelligent choices by a plurality of us voting for representatives, right? So our vote is relevant to the entire system of security, of safety, of danger, because we vote, and then our representatives keep us safe. But if our votes don't matter, then who's keeping us safe? Nobody. Because our votes don't matter. Because until they pass the Save America Act with voting, they cheat. You saw it in Los Angeles. You saw it wickedly in Los Angeles. The people of Los Angeles absolutely wanted to have the new kid be on the ballot for the mayor of Los Angeles, and they 100% stole it from him. It is impossible. It is impossible. Just like Joe Biden getting more votes, like 81, like Joe Biden, if you go back through 2020, he got, 81 million votes. It's like, well, there's only 70 million people voted. How is it possible that Donald Trump got more votes, Joe Biden got more votes than Hillary Clinton? Really? You think women were that fired up to vote for Joe Biden? That he got more votes in 2020 than Hillary Clinton got in 2016? If you go through and look at the voting patterns, you can just see that there's probably 10 million votes that came out of nowhere for Joe Biden. Out of nowhere. But they persecuted and prosecuted the January 6th protesters against the vote theft. They prosecuted all the state reps that came out and said there was voter theft in each state, in Wisconsin, in Atlanta, in Georgia. They came out in Michigan. They came after the elected reps that complained about voter theft. They prosecuted them. They persecuted them. They attacked them. They weaponized law enforcement. They weaponized the government because that's who stole the election, was the government. So the government came out and weaponized against those people that said the government didn't steal the election. It makes perfect sense. Like, the government steals the election and then crushes everybody that says the government didn't steal the election. It's like, because it's not Hunter Biden's laptop, and if you say it is, we're going to crush you. That was 2020. And here we are, 2024, and the only thing that saves us is the security of our vote, of your vote in a republic. But your vote, the voting system is dead. Obama killed it. Obama and Biden killed it. The government killed it. They killed it. So we have Trump now, and they're talking like 2028, like somehow they're not going to pass the Save America Act because they don't have the votes, but 70% of the people want it, but 0 Democrats will support it. And you can't really blame the Democrats for not supporting voter ID, because the Democrats are the ones that steal the elections. So they use the Democrat Party, the party of the ends justify the means, that are willing to kill babies so you don't have to feed them. You use that party to steal votes. Like, if they're willing to kill a baby, they're gonna steal your vote. Like that's nothing. We're willing to kill babies. You think we're not gonna steal a vote? Yeah, they will, especially if they don't go to jail. They don't go to jail for killing babies. They're not going to jail for stealing votes. Like, why wouldn't? Who went to jail for 2020? Nobody. Nobody's gone to jail. They brought out boxes from underneath tables. They found a whole mail truck stuffed with fake ballots in Pennsylvania. Nobody's going to jail for that, because the government is the one that puts people in jail. And if the government's the one that's stealing the election, why would they put themselves in jail for stealing an election? They're not going to. They're going to put the people that complain about it in jail. And that this is all, can kind of see the danger building here, right? So Trump won, and he's trying to minimize the danger of the government, of an overreaching government, because the government's left its tracks with Obama. And it's kind of hand in hand with the danger that's here. The number one danger that is affecting us, that is affecting your life, that I would like for you to understand the relevance of it. Okay, because voter theft is up there. It's up there because in a republic, if you don't have voter, but let's just say voter theft, like we figured out how to handle it. But if the majority of the people in America vote for Social Democrats, for the Democrat Socialist Party, what does the vote matter? They just voted to destroy our entire world. So the majority of people voted to hire people like AOC and these idiots in New York, these Marxist Democrat Socialist Party of New York, where they want to privatize the entire world. And they think these people that can barely read are going to do a better job of running our economy than you are trying to provide for your family the best way you know how. So these people are dangerous as hell. I mean, if they're not relevant, if you're not seeing the Democrat Socialist Party as a relational, relevant danger to your existence because they're in New York, you're wrong. It's the same way, and I want to take this back to slavery. I want to take this back to the Civil War, because that's where we are right now. We're with a part of our country that wants to have slaves. The blue states want slaves. They want slaves. They want, and it's worse than the Civil War. Let me tell you why it's worse than the Civil War. In the Civil War, the Democrats just wanted to have slaves in their states. The Democrats, let me repeat that. The Democrats in the 1860s just wanted to have slaves in their states. They didn't want them to escape. The Democrats passed a law saying if one of our slaves escaped, it was against the law to keep them. Like you had to, like they passed a law. This is what started the Civil War, basically. The Democrats passed a law saying if one of our slaves escapes our state, our slave state, and goes into a free state, the free state, by law, because it's property, because it's our property, the free state has to return the slave to us, or they've broken federal law. This is what started the Republican Party. The Democrats passed this federal law, and the free state said, F you. And that's really what started the Republican Party, because it was in Wisconsin. An escaped slave made it to Wisconsin, and the federal government stepped in and tried to return that escaped slave from Wisconsin back to Missouri. And the people of Wisconsin, it's a great story. It's a great story. This is what should be celebrated on June 19th. The people of Wisconsin. Now, you can imagine the people of Wisconsin at this time were mostly white people, as were the people, probably the slaveholders in Missouri. The people of Wisconsin, when the federal agents came there and to arrest the escaped slave and bring him back to Missouri, the people, I think it was Racine, the people of Racine, Wisconsin, surrounded the jail until the federal agents understood that somebody wasn't going to make it out of that jail alive unless that black man, that black free man was let out of that jail. And they let him out. They let him out. And he escaped to Canada. And lived a free life the rest of his life. But that was where the Republican Party started. Okay? That was where it started to end slavery. That was relevant. Just come with me here for a little ride. So, back in the day in America, in a small town, I believe it was Racine, Wisconsin, the federal government has come to take a man back to slavery. And although a few of the people in Racine maybe knew the escaped slave by his name or by his attitude, basically the entire town surrounded the jail where the federal agents, the Democrat federal agents, had come to bring the escaped slave back to Missouri. And they demanded his release. Now, we're all busy with what's relevant in our life. So think about going back in time. You're farming, you're a rancher, you're milking cows, you're doing whatever's relevant in your world. They had lives, they had to pay their bills, they had stuff they had to do, but they made it relevant that this free human being would not be sent back down to a slave state. Who would not be sent back down to a slave state. And they formed the Republican Party. It was relevant. So how many things in your world are relevant enough to where you would go down to a federal prison and make them release somebody that had committed no crimes but had left a slave state? And some of you, some of you may be thinking, well, isn't that what they're doing with ICE? Well, no, it's not what they're doing with ICE. The people that came in over our southern border broke our laws. But then you say, well, he broke Missouri's law. But but Missouri's law was wrong. It's not wrong to have a border. It's not wrong to have order. It's not wrong to know who's in the country with you. Wisconsin, so are they saying that they know the rapists and murderers that ICE is detaining and removing from our country are good people? No, they're not saying that. The empathite relational insanity is they want rapists and murderers in our country, and they don't want the good guys, who is ICE, to get them out. The problem is the Democrats didn't really, before the Civil War, the Democrats, I don't know how much time, the Democrats really didn't want slavery in all the states. They didn't care. They just wanted it in their states. The problem with Democrats today is, the Democrat socialists, they want it all. They want all the oil and gas. They want it all. And they will burn it to the ground to get it. Burn it to the ground to get it. And a lot of it is based, a fair amount of it is based on hatred, racial hatred. But the number one thing, the number one danger relevant that I want you to understand this is, and it's knowledge of what the danger is. Like, just know, and I'm not even going to go into which one, because it's in so many ways. We can't just attack one, like Islam. We can't just attack Islam and think that that's going to solve our problem. We can't, because it won't. Because evil will just change its face and will come right back. We can't just attack Marxist socialist Democrats, because it'll come back, it'll take its place. There's something else that's always going to take its place. But make no mistake, Islam is a cancer. And we've got to get it out of our body. We've got to get it out of our country. It will metastasize, it will grow, but the only being that is capable of overwhelming this evil and blighting it and lighting it out of our country is God. A loving God. The joy of a loving God. Because nothing else is going to do it for us. Nothing else. The joy of a loving God is the only thing that can bind our country and brighten our future enough to understand the relevance of the danger before it gets to your front door and into your house. We have got to find the light and joy of Jesus Christ and our loving God, and just take these shadows and blight them out with the bright light of Jesus Christ. Because nothing else, otherwise the darkness is just going to keep coming back in different places in different ways. They're cheering for algae. They're fighting for algae in D.C. Do you understand the insanity? They fight for rapists and murderers. They're fighting for algae. What do you think they're going to do when we confront Islam as the murdering, rapist cult, pedophilia cult that it is? What do you think these idiots in academia and the media are going to do when we actually confront the terror and danger that is Islam? It's not undoable, but we better start dealing with it and understand that danger is relevant. It's 100% relevant. Deal with it. Help me deal with it. Share my videos. Share everything you can about Muhammad. And he had sex with a 9-year-old girl, and every Muslim, they can't condemn a 50-year-old man having sex with a 9-year-old girl. It's demonic. It's demonic, and he's their prophet. Islam has got to go. They threaten to kill people that try to leave Islam. It's got to go. It's got to go, because everything they tell you about it is bullshit. It is a demonic, cancerous cult that is here to kill Christians and Jews. That's it. They don't have to be at your door to kill you. They can just pay off your teachers. They can pay off and steal your children from you. Because if your children ever convert to Islam, guess what you are to them? Dead. That is correct. Dead. Guys, I started Kingdoms Evolution because I love my God. And the joy of my God is overwhelmingly beautiful. But that doesn't mean we don't have to battle for our God. That doesn't mean we don't have to battle for our way of life. That doesn't mean that evil doesn't exist. It just means that we have to choose love and joy, and we have to battle for our way of life. God didn't say it was going to be easy. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. And that's my show. And I hope you find it relevant. And we are going to try to find a song that's relevant to end the show. What do you think? How about this? God never loses. God always wins.
There's mosquitoes on the river, fish are rising up like birds. It's been hot for 7 weeks now, too hot to even speak now. Did you hear?